excited to be here, why I have energy. And you know why I do? Because it has to do with this woman. She's 76 years old. She's my grandma. And her name is Vernell Gray Foster Jones. She has 3 names for her multiple husbands. She survived them all. And that's part of her energy. She survived her husband who was much younger than her. And you know what? My grandmother, I'm sorry, let me get the room quiet. Thank you so much. I was sharing this with you because it's just a reminder of why we get up and get this energy going, especially to celebrate SCI and their commitment to the community. Now, I was thinking about this as I was coming in. I'm like, I'm so tired, I'm exhausted, late, early mornings, and I said, I'm inspired by my grandmother, and I hope you guys are too, and will take your cue from me. And the reason why I am, I hung out with her this past weekend. Now, my grandmother has survived breast cancer. She never got her breast reconstructed. She said, I'm too cute to. Don't worry about it. I said, okay, Graham. She has survived stomach cancer, and she walks like this now because of the stomach cancer. But you know what? I took her to her wedding last weekend, and some young whippersnapper walked up to her and he saw her like tapping her foot to a popular song, and so he thought he'd make fun of her by saying, hey, you want to dance? And thought she would say no, and she said yes. Audio guy, give them the mood a little bit. So this song was on, I'll let it play. A little louder. You know the song? Uptown Funk? And so, a little louder, my grandma likes it loud, okay? And so she's up like this, tapping her foot, and so the guy thought he would make fun of her. He said, you want to dance? She said, yeah. And he said, well, take your cane, ma'am. And she said, I don't need my cane. So he did his moves. He did like the Running Man or something like that. We were like, okay. And he said, ma'am, your turn. So my grandmother threw her cane down and said, now, honey, in South Carolina, we do it like this. I'm too hot, and she took it all the way down at 76 years old, okay? And when I saw energy like that, I said, what do you have to complain about, right? We're here right now, thank you. We are here right now. If you feel fortunate like I do, that we were able to wake up on our own accord, have the health to get out of bed, stand up on our own 2 feet, come to this luncheon today and be with these beautiful people, say hello. If you are excited to celebrate Social Capital Incorporated, their commitment to the community, and want to help expand their brand to help even more people, say, let's get started.
Let's get started.
Thank you so much. Can you tell I'm excited to be here today? I missed last year, unfortunately, but I'm going to make it up this year. And what I promise you right now is that we're going to be out on time. So I encourage our speakers, when you come up here, you know we love you, but if you start going too long, I'm going to get up on stage. And I'm going to sit in the back for a second. And if you go a little longer, I may just creep up and stand beside you. And if you keep going, I'm going to hold your hand. And if you keep going, I'm going to squeeze your hand a little bit to encourage you to shush. But we love you so much. Thank you for all you do. We're celebrating some idealists and all that you do for the community. And this is going to be a great luncheon. Okay, so let's get this started for a second. I'll go to the script now. Again, we're honoring outstanding idealists and social capitalists to discuss how we connect for community impact and to support the work of Social Capital Incorporated. SCI's work to develop young leaders resonates with my experience growing up in Dorchester. And I just want to let you know that, we all donate, and we say, well, where does this money go? Well, when you help an organization like SCI, you don't know, you never meet the faces, most likely. Well, I'm one of those faces. My mom was 16 when she had me, my dad was 18 when he had me. And even though they didn't stay together, they were committed to raising me. And it really took a village, and it was organizations that are supported like SCI, through SCI, that really filled the gap, because teenage parents can only go so far. And nobody knew my potential. My mom, when she was a teenager, people would say to her directly to her face, your daughter's going to end up on welfare because you're a teenage mom. You're not going to be anything, you're not going to graduate from high school because you're a teenage mom. Well, organizations, community organizations, rallied around all of us. My mother graduated from high school, graduated from college, became a teacher. My dad's a social worker. Nobody believed me when I was growing up in the Columbia Point Housing Project in Dorchester. When I said I was going to be a news anchor, I would look at Liz Walker and say, that's going to be me, and they would laugh in my face. But here I am right now with the help of beautiful organizations that are sponsored and supported through Social Capital Incorporated. So let's give SCI a huge round of applause right now. A gentleman who loves all the people in this room, who really has a mission to help people all across the Bay State. And I'm not looking at my script right now, but David, you're just the man. So let's welcome up Mr. David Crowley. Give him a huge round of applause, the leader of Social Capital Incorporated. Big round of applause.
So it was a frigid February afternoon. I was driving to a meeting with a staff person from the local senior center. The slate gray skies got us talking about the next weekend storm that was getting ready to pummel the region again. Judy started telling me about a dozen or so seniors she knew of in the Woburn community that had not left since the last storm, because they weren't able to shovel. I guess they didn't have quite LaToya's grandmother's. She was probably out there shoveling, but unfortunately, these folks were not able to get out there and shovel themselves out, with the exception of one woman, an 83-year-old named Mrs. Connors, who apparently they got reports was going out there through the waist-deep snow to keep her heating vents cleared and try to keep safe, even though she really shouldn't have been doing that. Some 50 years ago, neighbors likely would have seen Mrs. Connors out there in the snow. They would have known her situation, that she was living alone and had recently had surgery. It would have been much more likely that neighbors would have just naturally come to Mrs. Connors' aid in that storm. That is really the genesis of why SCI started in 2002. We are committed to rebuilding those community ties because we know that the health of our community and the health of our neighbors and the well-being of our neighbors is dependent on people coming together and connecting. That connecting in community we call social capital. Not just we, that's the term. So that's the fancy term for being a good neighbor and an active member of the community. And SCI exists to help that happen more rather than less in our communities today. And recently, in our current strategic plan, we've focused in our social capital building on two key areas in particular: promoting health and promoting youth success. And you'll hear about that throughout the day. The good news is we are not alone in this mission at all at SCI. There are many, many organizations across the region that understand if we want to make a difference on key issues in the community, we have to get people engaged and connected more. And so those organizations increasingly turn to SCI to partner with us to figure out how we can work together to increase local community engagement. One way we do that is through placing 25 full-time AmeriCorps members in communities across the area. One team of those members focuses on youth leadership. They train teens using our leadership curriculum to identify issues they're passionate about, things like preventing substance abuse and promoting healthy eating, and they develop projects and initiatives to achieve their goals and get their peers involved, such as a group from Lynn that recently had a PSA promoting healthy eating and won a national contest for their great work. So shout out, we have Lynn folks in the house, good job. Yeah, clap for those Lynn kids, yeah. They do all of our young people, it's amazing. They see an issue, they jump on it, and they're passionate about it, and we provide a little bit of help to harness that passion to make a difference. The other group of our AmeriCorps members focuses on recruiting volunteers to support the success of young people. They do that by going to community events and gathering places, such as on the screen, and they also do that by leveraging technology. We have SCI community web portals that help people connect with volunteer opportunities, things happening in their community, and resources they can avail themselves of. Our strategic focus, really honing in on health and youth success, has really led to some exciting new partnerships over the past year or so. Actually, Melissa, I haven't seen Melissa yet, but I think you're out there somewhere, was at the Luncheon 2 years ago, and now because of that connection, we're working with Healthy Chelsea to develop a community website where people can, yeah, let's hear it for Healthy Chelsea. That resource is fairly new, that helps people both in English and Spanish find access to healthy food and ways they can stay active and healthy in the community. We are also working in Lawrence as another new partner, where there are so many great collaborations going on there, looking at things like health and education and economic development, and also we're developing a new web portal for that location as well. And one other new partner that I know is in the house is up in Gloucester. We somehow have a coastal thing going on here for some reason, where we work from Gloucester in the north to Fall River and New Bedford in the south. And in Gloucester, we're working with training youth there who are working on combating substance abuse. And we're using the leadership curriculum we have there to help really soup up their efforts to keep their peers safe and healthy. So we know we have a big goal to keep growing because there's so much interest in this idea. People really are hungry for getting more connections happening and in order to have greater impact on the issues we face. So we have a goal to expand our work to 30 communities in the region during the course of our current strategic plan. And we have plenty of interested takers. We have one group that we just heard from recently that's promoting college access in JP and Roxbury and Mattapan that wants to be part of our SCI AmeriCorps program. We have another program up in Salem that's working on health issues that also wants to be part of the AmeriCorps program. We have folks in Charlestown and Waltham eager to develop that community web portal I told you about. And diverting us a little from our coastal strategy, folks out in Milford, which is a little heading toward Worcester if you're not familiar, are talking to us about working with youth throughout the region to get more youth leadership opportunities happening in that part of the state. So we know that interest is out there to work with SCI to connect, to strengthen our communities. And that's why we're so glad to have you here today, because with your support is really vital to giving us the capacity we need to respond to this need that's out there. With your help, every day we are connecting citizens to strengthen communities. Sometimes the impact of those connections is subtle and long-term, such as planting a mentor, planting the seed in a child's mind that she can go to college someday and maybe be an anchor woman. That was not on the script, by the way. And sometimes, though, those connections are deployed for more immediate needs. As that February snowstorm advanced, it was the one around President's Day, I know it's hard to sort those out. As that storm advanced, Brian and Karen from the SCI office started reaching out to schools and youth groups and churches and quickly rounded up a group of volunteer shovelers. And so this time, when we got the next 2 feet of snow, Mrs. Connors was able to sit and look out the window as a team of young shovelers shoveled out her walkway and cleared out the vent for her, as it should be. The connections we create, we don't know everything that will happen, but we know sometimes those connections can be life-saving and they can be life-changing. So thank you for joining us today to help make that happen in communities across the state. Thank you.